achieving the goal before this decade is out? Of landing a man on the moon.
When am I gonna learn to turn my microphones on? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know when I'm gonna learn that. Ooh, okay, there we go. Saturdays are really busy for me because I have class on Saturdays. So most of the time I'm literally like running into my office to stream. I can't wait till this class is over so I don't have to stress about it anymore. I'm gonna bring in Chanel right now. Shanae, what are you doing? Yay!
Nothing.
So, how was Vegas?
Great, as usual,
As
always.
usual. She's like, I'm
Um,
moving tomorrow.
can't wait to move there in October.
I know. Yeah, Chanel and Kat are both saying, we're all really like into the universe and whatnot. And Chanel and Kat have both said, we will live there by October. That's what we're putting into the universe, no matter what it takes. It's not just production. I mean, I know you guys love me, but you guys really love Vegas, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like the atmosphere there, it's so much different. It's so much more. I don't even know what the word is to use. It's so better. It's better.
It's very, it's not for everybody though, and I've said that before. I've said, like, if you have alcohol problems, like you're a drinker, or if you're a big gambler, or if find prostitution interesting, you probably shouldn't move to Vegas because that's all like completely legal here. Um, but other than that, it's very modern, right? Like the part about Vegas that you guys get to see is not only the casinos, but even like housing. When stuff gets old, they will really just take the whole like development over and they'll rebuild it. And you guys love the local side, like the modern side of Vegas, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Just the atmosphere. And, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good energy. I feel like it feels new, especially compared to a lot of like other states and cities. So anyway, yeah, someone pointed out my shirt. It says Spellman Mortuary. If you guys can see it. Part of the reason I'm wearing this shirt is the topic we're doing today is H.P. Lovecraft, right? I got this shirt at Hot Topic if anybody's wondering. H.P. Lovecraft, the reason that we are doing this topic was inspired by Sabrina. Um, Chanel and I both are big Sabrina fans, which is the Netflix series. What is it? The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Is that the official name? Yeah, it is. Okay. I just couldn't remember. It's like they also they'll hashtag like chaos COAS. Is that right? Chilling Advent or CAOS Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on social media. And this second season, I'm not going to do spoilers, so nobody freak out if you haven't seen it. But the second season, they did have an inspiration of the character of H.P. Lovecraft. And so we're going to kind of do a little chat about that too, which is exciting. But I don't know. I thought we would just kind of chat for a minute because that's just what we do. You know what I mean? Like when we go live, we just chat.
Mhm.
Chanel's like, yes, let's chat. So basically, did you see my Instagram stories last night?
Yes. I was over them.
Were you dying? Were you just like, what's going on here? Oh my god.
I was, yeah.
I don't know what inspired me to do like a miniature review on my Instagram story last night. If you don't follow me, it's at Krystal_Leandra. Is that right? I don't even know my own Instagram name, my Instagram handle. Hang on. Stand by. At Krystal.Leandra. Sorry. So last night, I was literally you know, it's a Friday night. I had done some work and I was like hanging out, and it was like 8 p.m. scrolling through, you know, cable, and I see the new show. Oh my God, what is it called? I'm brain dumping it right now. It's with Jack Osborne. Portals to Hell. Okay, is what it's called. Have you
Like,
seen it?
no,
Well, I'm just
I
saying you're
haven't.
not missing
I've
a
heard of
ton.
it.
Okay. So, well, I mean, Jack Osborne he did another one. It was called like Haunted Highways. He's done a few different things. I wasn't really watching it for Jack Osborne. I was watching it because I wanted to see Katrina, right? So Katrina was on Ghost of Shepherdstown. She started with Paranormal State with Ryan Buell. I don't know. I like Katrina. Do you like Katrina?
Yeah, I
There's something I find about her that's just very authentic, and I think that's why I like her. Because especially in a
yeah.
sea of poo shows, you know, and like poo investigators, Kat's gonna be like a sea of poo. Uh, Kat loves the word poo, by the way. But anyway, so in a sea of poo with our, you know, paranormal community, I like Katrina. I really find her authentic, and I like her. And so when I was scrolling, I just happened to see it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to like watch this and see what it's about. And that was rather difficult to watch. That's really all I can say. I don't. So I basically Um, I'll recap what I saw. Okay. Um, I didn't see Katrina make any mistakes. Really still love her to death. Still find her to be very authentic. Maybe that's me like reading her energy. She was doing some interviews. She was really good at what she was doing. She was communicating clearly. She knew the questions to ask. But Jack Osborne, on the other hand, he may need some guidance as far as ghost hunting goes. I feel like we might need to start at like 101 with Jack, because they were, I don't know, I watched a couple episodes. I think they were in Alaska at some like haunted hotel, and he had the millimeter in his hand, and and he was like, oh, the millimeter's going off. There's like high electromagnetic fields, da da da. And then all of a sudden he sets the millimeter on the counter. Well, first he held it up like to like the wall, which that's a no-no because there's wiring in the walls, obviously. And then he took the millimeter and set it next to a doorbell on the wall. And he's like, I don't know why it's going off. Like, there's really high electromagnetic fields in here. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, how many shows have we watched where someone does that? I feel like it happens way too often, don't you? Where you're watching
Oh
someone
yeah.
and it's like, I can tell you why it's going off. I have a clue as to why it's going off. But you don't, which is fine. The wall with the wiring and the doorbell perhaps has, you know, electricity in it. And I don't even know. Anyway, I kept watching, even though that was like, that literally happened in like the first 10 minutes. So it made it really hard to continue to watch after that, because I was like, what is happening here? Like, I can't even do this. So there were some other really strange things that happened. Whoever they were interviewing, I don't think it's scripted. But I didn't find the guy that they were like interviewing at the location to be authentic. I don't know what I mean by that exactly, other than I just don't know if he was full of BS. Because like Katrina like goes to him with some really like hard questions. She's like, you know, so you told Jack that there were, you know, satanic worshiping that was done here in this building, like in the basement. And he pauses for a minute, like he has to like remember himself saying that. And he was like, well, I wouldn't say satanic, but diabolical. And she's like, but you told Jack there were satanic worship here. So even Katrina was like curious, like, were you lying? So I don't know if like he was just making stuff up as they were going. but Katrina kind of called him out on it, which also once again made me feel like she was being very authentic and like catching it as it was happening. You know what I mean? But another thing happened with this same guy, and but unfortunately, when they're interviewing someone that like clearly doesn't have his story straight, it makes the show look bad, right? So this guy goes through the basement, the same guy that like clearly has lied to like Jack or whatever. And he's going through the basement speaking Latin. Supposedly he's like learned Latin to like speak to the quote demons in the basement to provoke them. What?
Why?
You took the time to learn Latin to speak to the basement or speak to the demons in your basement? Are you serious? Like I mean, it's hard learning another language, but he's like basically he learned Latin to speak to the demons. Anyways, so he's basically going through with Jack and Katrina, and he's kind of like, I don't know what he's saying, provoking, trying to pull the demons out, and I was like, oh my god, this is so painful. This is so painful. Anyway, I did watch 2 episodes of it. I feel really bad for Katrina. That's all I can say is I still like Katrina. I know that she's been through like a lot with like, she got cut from, not Ghost of Shepherdstown, I'm sorry, that was his other series. What was he on? Paranormal Lockdown, and they had reassigned it from Destination America to Travel Channel. Travel Channel cut him. Apparently I had heard someone, I had a couple of fans that were actually messaging me last night as I was doing the Instagram stories. The fans were like watching and laughing. Apparently they had heard through the grapevine that Katrina still had X amount of episodes left in her contract with Paranormal Lockdown, and that Travel Channel was forcing her to finish those episodes with another series, which was with Jack. So I was like, wow. Well, I mean, it makes sense, That's part of why you want to be the EP of your own series, is because, you can negotiate with the network and you don't have to be forced to do things. Like, obviously, Katrina's been contracted as, like, a host, right? Which is basically paid as, just like Grant and Jason were paid to be contracted kind of like stars versus EPs. Which means they also make a lot less money than like an actual EP does, because they're in control of it. So anyway, poor Katrina. She really doesn't deserve it. Honestly, like watching the whole thing, I had no like disappointment in what I was watching with Katrina, but the disappointment was with the production itself and with Jack. And I don't think he's making kind of an ass out of himself on TV with the paranormal community, like putting a millimeter up to a doorbell saying, why is it going off? There's another shot. He looked like he just woke up and the production team like caught him off guard. Did you see me talk about that on my Insta story?
Oh yeah, with the hair.
His hair was just like, looked like he'd gotten electrocuted. I don't know what was going on. And it was like, why isn't the production team saying, Jack, like, I know we woke you up and you were taking a nap, but is there any way, like, you can maybe brush that, like, that guy down, just get him a little bit more control? So it really literally looked like he had just woke up. So anyway, I also looked up the series online, found out that they have a 3.4 star rating out of 10, Chanel. Yeah. That's really bad. Really bad.
No.
I mean, well, and then, like, every single episode, they had a different executive producer. I was like, that's not good. That's not good. That means that they could not find funding for any of the episodes that they were contracted to do. And Jack actually was an EP of 1 or 2 of the episodes. So anyway, I mean, you guys go ahead and watch it if you feel like you need to. But I feel like I wrapped it up last night. I feel bad. Should I feel bad? I don't know. Feel bad for being honest. Chanel's like, I have no comment. It's just, that's it. Chanel's like, next topic. Okay. H.P. Lovecraft. Did you know who he was when we decided to do this topic?
I've heard of him. I haven't really read any of his work, though, to be honest. So
So I
Yeah.
thought of this topic after Sabrina aired. So you and I both you finished the series too, right?
I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah.
The second series, okay, or season 2, sorry.
The second.
So H.P. Lovecraft comes in. I'm just a small spoiler if you haven't seen it, and it's not gonna ruin the story. H.P. Lovecraft comes in basically as a dream state of Harvey's roommate at college. So basically, Harvey is moving into college in sort of a dream state, and his roommate is someone that keeps having weird visions of creatures. And they, at the end of the dream state, they introduce him as H.P. Lovecraft, which is interesting because I called that out before they even. I was like, this has to be an H.P. Lovecraft thing. Because what they would say, what H.P. Lovecraft would do is he would like disappear for days at a time. No one would hear from him or see him, and he would just go into like a writing phase. And he would claim that it's possible he summoned portals. He would deny that. We'll talk about that soon. But he would, it was claimed by people that knew him that he would talk to the dead, talk to the other side, talk to creatures, talk to aliens, crypto creatures. And these creatures that came to him would inspire him for his writings. And this is true. This is all true about H.P. Lovecraft. So Howard Phillips Lovecraft, born August 20th of 1890. Rhode Island is where he's from. So Chanel, do you want to chat a little bit? You did actually a lot of research on him, and you were shocked to some of the stuff that you found out, right? I mean,
believe it or not, I didn't actually go down the kind of like the occult side of it.
right.
It's weird because there's a lot of different speculations with H.P. Lovecraft and how he went about writing what he's written, like the monsters, the different dimensions and things. He actually, his father, it seems his entire family suffered a lot from nervous breakdown, and that's actually his father ended up passing away. And he passed away from paresis, or like partial paralysis. And then his mother, shortly after, passed away from a nervous breakdown. I'm not really sure. Or wait, it might have been, I think actually it was complications with the surgery, is how she passed. But both of their passings sent him into like this like nervous breakdown thing. So I think it was interesting that he like that was kind of a reoccurring thing in his family.
Well, and let's be honest, in the 1800s, early 1900s, mental health awareness didn't exist, right? And if you were diagnosed with something, even as little as anxiety, they would have room to throw you into an asylum. So they probably weren't even properly diagnosed. So who knows what they suffered, right?
Because it resulted in him having to school without getting a diploma. And then this caused him to not get into the university. I think it was Brown University.
Chicago, right? Or wait.
So,
Whoops, you cut
yeah.
out. There we go. Yeah.
So sort of, can you
You cut out. Your microphone's cutting out. Chanel lives in a small town, okay? I don't want anybody judging her. She literally lives in the middle of nowhere, and there's like no Wi-Fi. Hence one of the reasons she's moving to Las Vegas, okay? So do not give Chanel crap, okay? Like, she's doing her thing, all right? Everybody needs to chill. What? A little bit. It's just like
Are we
a little
good?
bit. Yeah. Okay. Maybe you need to get a little closer to the mic.
Closer?
Do you have an earphone headset? Do you have a headset?
Yeah.
You do? Can you grab it?
Somewhere.
Because I think what's happening is you're kind of far from the laptop. She has our work laptop. And I think that what's happening is you're kind of far, and then it's like cutting in and out. So temporarily, we'll just talk until she gets plugged in. So anyway, Lovecraft, if you haven't watched Sabrina, which once again I'm like sporting the shirt, you really need to catch up on it. The second season isn't as good as the first. We'll talk about that too. But the episode with Lovecraft, I think it's like the second or third episode. It happens really early in the second season. And I just love how the directors depicted Lovecraft in this. Basically, he's this like college roommate, and it's almost like at night, this like weird like light comes through and opens up this portal to this other realm, and he starts seeing all these like really strange, weird like creatures and stuff come through. And not only is he like writing about the creatures, but he's painting and creating the creatures. And in the morning, there's a scene where Harvey kind of like confronts him about these weird things he's writing about and painting, and H.P. Lovecraft has this like nervous breakdown, like freak out. So it just, I feel like it depicts what his real life character would be like to a T. Okay, Chanel, you think we're good?
Can you hear me?
Yay! There we go. Holler.
Okay. Yes.
Yay! Okay.
So,
Kat says, I blame the ghost and I just saw an orb. On which side, Kat? Was it my side or Chanel's side? Chanel had some orbs earlier. Before we actually went live, I was like, we had her like streaming to make sure like everything was running. And she had this like giant orb that like, and it was a weird shaped orb that went in front of her face. I was like, we just saw an orb. And she was like, okay, ghosties.
yeah, because, well, actually, it's weird because I've been feeling strange all night. So, you know, you can tag along if you were here.
Don't say that, because then they'll disconnect you. That's what happens with Kat. When Kat's like little ghosts come around, they just shut her down.
We have an understanding.
We have an understanding.
Yeah.
Chanel's like me. She grew up with, you know, ghosts all over the place. So it's just like, I get it. You're here. Just give me a minute, yo.
Pretty much.
Okay, so go back to Lovecraft, right?
So, yes. So he couldn't get into the university, so that kind of sent him into like a hermit stage where he was doing very little to pursue he was actually really into astronomy. And he, like, during this hermit stage, he didn't pursue any of his interests, astronomy or poetry writing. But after he sort of got like grabbed himself and pulled himself out of that state of being, which is kind of hard to do for some artists. I think it was between 1915 and 1923-ish. He began publishing like 13 issues of his own work. Mm-hmm. I think the first thing was called The Conservative. I might be wrong.
And it was all really dark stuff.
He did
people
that
like
one.
Freaked out because it was so dark.
Yes.
Now remember, guys, like think back to 1800s, 1900s, people talking and writing about paranormal and like even paranormal topics, UFOs, aliens, crypto characters. Like, you're gonna be cast out of society straight up in the 1900s. Like, people are gonna think you're weird. People are gonna think you're probably a witch, that you should have been burned at the stake, like in Salem, you know, hung. So yeah, I mean, you have to seriously like, and he kept producing work, even after all that. He kept. Which you have to kind of give him like a high five for like not having shame with society, with scaring the crap out of people, essentially.
Yeah, but what's also interesting is that in his teen years, he attempted to actually write in the post-op, but it wasn't as successful as he wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. So he obviously began just sticking with his own style. Mm-hmm. He had this huge fascination, like I said, and he actually, this is where he also continued to suffer the attacks.
Panic attacks, like weren't they like?
Some speculate
they were the ones that would like shut him down, right? Like he'd literally shut down for days.
Yes, yeah. But some think that it was due to his lack of knowledge of mathematics, which hindered his ability to prevented him essentially to like get a career in astronomy or as an astronomer, which would really, if you think about it with him, because he's such an artistic mind, it would suck if he's not being able to grasp this mathematics, the ability that you need to become an astronomer, basically. But he has this huge fascination with, astronomy.
Well, genius
But
mind. But once
yeah,
again, you're talking about probably
genius mind.
untreated mental illness, which is horrible. Did your earphone go out?
No, I just couldn't hear for a second.
Oh,
You're
it
good.
sounds like
Go ahead.
sometimes you get like, it sounds like there might be an EVP every once in a while coming through, but it's none of my business. It's not my house. My house has been saged, assaulted. Okay, I'm safe. It's not coming from I mean, it could come from my side. We're not gonna lie.
No, it's
Okay?
probably me.
It's probably you. No, but like seriously, untreated mental illness, and you're having like massive freakouts where you shut down for days and you can't function. I can't imagine trying to live life unmedicated and not trying to get help. But once again, if you were to admit this at that time, that you think something's wrong with a mental illness, they're going to throw you in the bin and lock the key and throw the key away. I mean, so you have to just suffer. Can you imagine people just suffering, just dealing with it because your family at any point could just throw you in an asylum for not feeling depressed?
No.
I feel like that's so common. Anyone can feel depressed or anxious at any time. I know that like clinical depression is something deeper and bigger, but you could have just been thrown in an asylum for just having a bad day, which I just think is so wrong. Thank God we're not in the 1920s anymore. Jesus Lord. Okay, so anyway, he couldn't do his job, which is what he wanted to do, astronomy.
I think I want to tie this into it a little bit because I think this is a different point of view to look at why the way he wrote. He had this kind of archaic that for a society to be stable, it had to be homogenous or consisting of alike people.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't like to see culture. He knew go down the drain as immigrants came over, which is essentially a nicer way of saying he was racist.
A nicer saying he was racist.
So he had this genuine worry, like this genuine fear or phobia or something of mixed DNA or like mixed breeding, because it was seen, for him at least, it was seen as evil to because he thought that it was evil because you were taking away the purity of
the bloodline, whatever your bloodline is.
Right.
It's like
and he had that. He had this
something.
And he had this so strongly. It was almost like he was private in a sense. And a lot of people feel that these monsters that he had written about were actually metaphors for these immigrants. So
it sounds almost like he had obsessive compulsive disorder, like OCD type of thing, on like a super extreme level, which also could cause anxiety and cause you to like shut down for days, right?
Yeah. But despite, all of that, he did end up marrying a Jewish woman.
Right.
So,
which I found ironic.
Clearly he wasn't
that racist enough, I guess, if that's how you say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But
so
it's so interesting. So many people that we've talked about, like even like going back to like Louisiana and like the Axeman of Louisiana, he had a racist issue, and he's the one that was like, it's probably a lot of locations that are haunted in Louisiana because he's murdering Italian immigrants that are coming over, because he has fear of them taking their jobs. You have H.P. Lovecraft, who has like a fear of interracial marriages and messing up the bloodline. And it is interesting because I guess I'm not saying I'm definitely not a racist whatsoever because I'm Cherokee Indian. I know I'm pale and white, but I'm still Native American. But you look at stuff like that, and I guess it is kind of appropriate for its time, like 1920, and then, teaching people to be afraid of new things and change, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think he
Yeah.
may have had some OCD too, just from reading about him. I think that may have been one of the triggers.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, to live in a time where you can't really diagnose that, it's a little harder to understand. But I guess, between 1922 to 24, his narrative output rose. So he released different stories. Let me see, which ones were they?
He did like
Miskatonic
poetry and like short
University.
stories too. He did a lot of different
Yeah,
things. And
yep.
there was
Arkham,
one.
Massachusetts, and sorry, go ahead.
Well, what was the? There was one big one that like pushed him big time into fame. Do you remember which one that was? I'm looking at my notes too. He had
um,
one that just like took off and he wasn't even expecting it to.
was it the Necronomicon?
No, that
No.
was found after he died. He denied till his death that the Necronomicon even existed. Which, by the way, I own a copy of it. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in my office, hiding. But yeah, he had claimed that when the Necronomicon, well, hearsay, because once again he denied it existed. They think that that was his
Yeah.
way of like opening portals and like communicating with demonic activity. But also I own the Necronomicon. I have a friend. I've talked about this guy. He used to be a practicing Satanist. Don't freak out when I say that. When I say practicing Satanist, he was on the side of satanic worship where he believed in independence. So it's not like worshiping the devil. It's just being an individual and not being like the same as society is what how their beliefs are. There's different branches of it, but he was really educated on it from practicing it, obviously, and that's when he'd introduced me to he got me the copy of the Necronomicon, and he was like, I've studied Enochian culture, which is like an ancient Egyptian culture, and he goes literally the Necronomicon along with a lot of the Anton LaVey practice of Satan worship in the Satanic Church is based off of Enochian culture. But the weirder thing is, if you're talking about Enochian culture, and if H.P. Lovecraft did gain knowledge from Enochian culture to create the Necronomicon, how did he gain resources in the 1920s to write something like that? Do you know what I'm saying? There was not Amazon. You
Yeah.
couldn't order a book from Amazon. You couldn't. I mean, I highly doubt they would allow, weird satanic books or anything. I mean, was there even much written at that point? I highly doubt it. So it does make you wonder, did H.P. Lovecraft have some sort of dabble with the other side or possibly demons? How did he understand and rewrite basically Enochian history within the Necronomicon in an era that resources just were not available, right? It does make you freak out. It freaks me out when I think about that, because really, like, how would he gain that material? Like, was he psychic? Was he opening portals? You know what I mean?
I mean, back then, if you think about it, they probably used it as, like, you kept telling people that it was fake. Since started using the book, becoming a little bit more real to the point where people speculate maybe these worlds did exist, these dimensions did exist. So
And by the
I
way, have you
think
ever read the Necronomicon? Did you even look? Well, yeah, you've looked at it because I haven't, and I know you've held it for. We did a couple photo shoots with you.
I haven't read it thoroughly. Yeah, I haven't read it thoroughly. I have read the Satanic Bible, but not the Necronomicon.
Oh, you have read the Satanic Bible. See, I haven't read the Satanic Bible. What is it? Is that what you mean? Is like the actual Satanic Bible like courtship that they have?
Well, Anton LaVey.
Okay. I haven't read that. I've
Yeah.
heard that it's very similar to the Necronomicon and also the Enochian culture. I have tried to read the Necronomicon out of just pure curiosity. A lot of people are like, oh my God, don't pick it up. It's going to curse your life and like all this dramatic stuff. And I'm just like, everybody needs to chill, okay? Like,
No.
let's not go so
Yeah.
extreme, okay? Like, everybody needs to chill. So I have tried to read the Necronomicon, obviously because I own it, but it's a very difficult book to understand. And I think it's because it's not clear. It's not like our version of the Bible by any means, where there's like miniature stories inside of it within stories. There's like, it clearly is a summoning. Like there's different summoning things. There's different pictures. But I actually went through it too once we decided to do the topic of H.P. Lovecraft, because I was like, there's two sides to the story. There's one side that H.P. Lovecraft just ripped off, you know, a culture basically, and like just turned this book into something that was already existing. The other side is the people that were in extreme fear of H.P. Lovecraft, thinking that he was actually summoning these things and these things were giving him the information. So you go through the Necronomicon and you look at some of the images that he's drawn in representation of like ancient gods and etc. And it does make you wonder, how did this guy get this information? Like in the 1920s, like where did he get this information from? And these precise drawings. And once again, going back to the Sabrina episode, you saw he's literally like, you know, watching this portal open, and he's watching these things like paint images for him, and he's like fiercely drawing the images that he's seeing that are like appearing in front of him. And to me, it just seems that could probably be appropriate, in my opinion, is that it was portals or like things that were coming through and like telling him these, you know, certain information. Yeah. Okay, sorry, we just ranted about it.
Yeah.
Remember, Chanel and I are the ones into like the dark side of paranormal. I mean, not that we invite demons in our house, but I think it's more of a research thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just, you know, if you're gonna be in, you know, a genre like, I guess not genre, but a normal, you should probably have a very variety range of knowledge.
I agree. I mean, because you never know what you're
At
going to
least
run
that's what I
into
think.
at a location. So why not be somewhat prepared for it? Okay, let's go back to Lovecraft and talk, because he's got a weird, bizarre life too. My God, he's so weird.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's something about Lovecraft that he like married his cousin or something like that, right? Or like a niece or something, or what was that about? Or his?
I think that was Poe.
Oh, that's right. Jesus,
right?
Yeah,
wasn't he the one?
Jesus, take the wheel. We just screwed up Poe and Lovecraft. Sorry, guys.
Well, he was inspired by Edgar Allan Poe, though.
That's
I can't
right.
talk today. What is happening?
It's the demons. It's the Necronomicon. Everything's fine.
Demons.
Well, oddly, you know, if everybody wants to hear a story, since we're on the topic of the Necronomicon, let's just share it, shall we? So, a couple weeks ago, I had activity in my house, and out of nowhere, literally, it was like 3 a.m. Like, my house has been quiet. Like, I'm very careful with my house as far as, like, letting energy in the house. And out of nowhere, I feel this, like, burning sensation, like, going down my back, down to my booty. I've talked about this on another stream. And literally, I had an image branded on my ASS. Like, literally, okay? And, I mean, it was a bad one. And I shared, like, a little part of it on Instagram stories. Obviously, the appropriate part. By the way, there's still part of it is still there. It's going to be permanently scarred on my ass, which, by the way, I don't appreciate. To any energy out there that decided to do that, okay? I have no tattoos except for the one that the demon gave me, which I don't appreciate. But I didn't know what to do because it was literally like an image, like a symbol. And so what do? I break out the Necronomicon and I start going through it. I'm like, what is this? And oddly, the image matched like an ancient god that is like a protector god that is like higher of power than like Saint Michael, which I found to be very strange and interesting at the same time. Like, the image was almost identical to it. But you can't play into it too much, because when you have something dark that attacks you like that, sometimes it wants you to believe that it's good so that you're welcoming, and you don't want to. So I didn't play into it, you know what I mean? I saged my house, I'll say that. After that, I was like, look, okay, I don't appreciate the branding. It was literally like a burn mark. Like, you saw the picture of it, Chanel.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah, it was weird.
It was like a
Wasn't it like
burn.
a Yeah, it wasn't a scratch. Like it was clearly not just a scratch.
It
I
wasn't
mean,
bleeding.
you
It
said
was
it was
like,
still there, right?
well, you saw it. Remember when you guys came to Vegas last week? I was like, you want to see my scar? It's still here.
Yeah.
It's still there. Not the whole thing,
Yeah.
only part of it. It's actually morphed while it healed into what looks like a permanent 4. Literally. Yes, it was identical
And
to...
you've been seeing 4s.
Yeah, and I've been seeing 4s everywhere, like 444, 4444,
Just saying.
444444. Just kidding. Anyways, sorry, I'm just a little bitter about that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a scar person. I'm not into like body modification and like scarring. So I was really mad about that. But yes, it was the original brand. I'm calling it a brand because it literally looked like a welt. It looked like a burn welt. It was not bleeding. It was like welted into my skin. It looked like an image from the Necronomicon. And I know it sounds weird, which was another reason that I wanted to do this chat about H.P. Lovecraft, because it freaked me out. Everyone was like, crazily going through like the internet trying to find images, and we all agreed it was this one certain image. Basically, it was not a demonic image, which I guess is good. Hey. But it was like an ancient god. This image was related to an ancient god.
Wasn't it related to like Mesopotamia or something of that nature?
Like way old, like Mesopotamia, has like ancient like gods and goddesses type of thing, like before the creation of Earth type of thing. And it was deep. It was a little too philosophical for me, you know what I mean? Like, I like to go back, throw back to like some Greek culture, gods and goddesses. Okay, that sounds like fun. I'm all about the Egyptian culture, but when you're going way back to before the Earth existed, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. It was a lot of new research. It was like, I need to educate myself. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, let's not screw up Edgar Allan Poe again, shall we? Let's try to stay let's try to stay on the right topic this time. Anyway, the brand is still on my booty, and to any demons out there, I don't appreciate that, just for the record. Okay. Let's see, I'm going through notes because, my goodness, his mother's mental illness and physical condition became deteriorating. So she had a nervous breakdown in 1919, and she was admitted to the hospital. Wow. And so and she died
I think
2
it was
years
actually
later.
the same Yeah. I think it was the same hospital that his father passed away in, or not, like was admitted into.
Right. She died from gallbladder complications. My God, that's like such a common surgery anymore. I mean, I've even had mine out. I'd be like, I'm not ready yet, okay? It's just the gallbladder. We can live without it. I'm fine. Just take it out. I'm going through more of his notes here. So he kind of failed a lot in the beginning as a writer, right?
Oh yeah.
He'd attempted to like become somebody.
Right. He actually became, at one point, the president of the Amateur Press Association. So they think that was actually the sort of catapult that saved him from, this unproductive, reclusive lifestyle that he was getting himself into from being a hermit, which is kind of nice. That's a nice little accomplishment for someone who's just felt like a failure for a while.
Well, and he had admitted to being in like a dark place of depression on and off too, which clearly, I mean, let's be real. If you have demons visiting you every night, I mean, I'm not sure how that would make you a positive person. You know? I mean,
Yeah,
how could you be like, yay?
that's
So I
hard.
had this new demon come over last night. He was so cool. I mean, you're gonna be
Yeah.
depressed. It's really sad. He also had issues with eye contact, right, with people like in the public. Did you just see a ghost or something? What's going on? Maybe.
But eye contact, yeah, he was just, I don't know if shy is the word to use. He just didn't, he kept to himself in public, in
Yeah.
other words, I guess. Um, and I guess that, the eye contact goes anxiety.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, there's some
can you
movement.
guys chill?
I know what's going on. You have like all kinds of activity tonight. They want to
I
be
don't know.
they want to be famous. They're like, "Hey."
Yeah.
You're like, "Yeah, whatever. Get out of here."
So, um,
I'm just reading through the notes
train
again.
of thought is gone. Hold
Ooh,
on.
there was like a male voice in there. Do you have a guy over there?
No,
Was that a knock? Did you knock or was that something else?
I don't. No, it wasn't
Wow.
me.
Your house is worse than Cat's tonight. Usually Cat is like
This
powder.
isn't even. This is my friend's house. This isn't even my house.
Your friend needs to
Her
sage.
house is active though.
It is.
Yeah, she does majorly.
She does
I need to
majorly.
get her.
Someone buy her some sage.
She's
for
not
her
even
birthday.
here right now.
Really?
Yeah,
My God. They're just
yeah.
wanting to hang
Her
out.
birthday's actually. Yeah.
That was weird. There was like a beeping noise when you went
Are
to
we-
talk. It was like boop. That's what it did.
What?
Yeah, I swear. There's some weird noises coming out of your microphone.
Great.
Welcome to live chat. You're gonna get followed
Fine.
home. You're gonna get an attachment from your friend's house. That's all I've got to say.
Oh, he knows not to follow me home.
Have you been followed from this house before?
No. No, I think honestly, whoever is in this house is either attachments or whoever was already before she moved in here. Because this is an apartment
Oh.
thing. So she lives above somebody else.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I haven't heard anything like below
You know,
me.
it's hard when you live in an apartment to like cleanse the whole house. Chanel, your face. I'm dead. Cat's dying too. I knew it. I was waiting for Cat to pipe in. She's gonna be like, I see you.
So, oh, I found what I was gonna try to say. Going back to his interests, they called him the pioneer of the speculative fiction, which is a genre dealing with settings other than the real world, so like involving supernatural topics.
Mm-hmm.
So he started this cosmicism movement, which is marked by the belief that there are interstellar beings far outside the realm of humans' perception. So, in other words, aliens, and that humans are an insignificant part of a very large, very terrifying universe.
Mm-hmm.
So, seems like he had kind of a pessimistic view of human
He hated
beings as a
humans.
whole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was reading about
especially
that too.
immigrants.
He was but he really believed like part of the portal thing wasn't just like the darkness, demons, ghosts, whatever, dead people. He also believed like the contact he had was extraterrestrial, which I find very interesting because I feel like there's like paranormal investigators aren't always like really into aliens. I feel like it's always kind of like one or the other. So for him to be interested in the occult and then be like really all about alien contact, it's just different, I guess. I find it to be very, very different. So it's strange.
Well, and I mean, I feel like though today people are more into trying to figure out if there are extraterrestrials, whereas back then you wouldn't really. people might not have been into that as much because
Right.
of like what you said. If you were into that sort of thing, you would probably look at it as insane.
Oh yeah.
So I'm wondering if contact by like aliens was more common back then too.
It does make you
Because if we're
wonder.
talking about portals, yeah,
It does make you wonder. Well,
interesting to
especially because
think
like the
about.
media isn't as fast as today. Like, not only like the news, but social media is just it's like social media is faster than the news at this point. And most people check updates on
Yeah,
social media, not television. And so yeah, it makes you wonder
right.
if like now, if there was like an actual alien event, it would hit like social media. Everyone would. That was loud. What was that? Was that an
I
animal?
don't know what's going on. They're not. They're never. Yes, they're never like this. Fucking insane.
There was another bonk. Did you hear it?
Yeah, they're running around. Sorry, guys.
They're just like so excited that you're
Animals, you
there,
know.
and you're like, oh my god, they want attention. That's so weird.
Yeah, and of course it's happening now.
You know what? That's
But
fine.
yeah,
That's what
sorry.
people
Go
tune
ahead.
in for. Is like to see the ghost guests that we have on here. Um, Jesus Lord. I'm just looking through like Lovecraft's work. Was that another thing?
Yeah, it was the cat. But
Jesus
I was
Lord.
also reading though. I don't know if you read this. Sorry, I don't know if
It's
you read
fine.
this, but I, um, back to the Necronomicon thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I read that he was inspired by to write that book. He created an alter ego, I guess, called Abdul Al Hazred Arabo,
Mm-hmm. I did see that.
by in his enthusiasm of the Arabian Nights.
Right.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
It
And
is weird.
I guess he used that name
Yeah.
as the author of the
So he
Necronomicon. I don't
basically
know.
created like an alternate self projection, and he named himself Abdul, which is just like
Yes,
random. It's just really out there. Like
like a
okay,
pseudonym or something.
which also might
Yeah,
add like if he was a racist, that's a very different cultural name, Abdul. So once again, and he's really into
yeah,
Arabian Nights, but yet he's racist. I'm confused. Maybe he just hated humans in general, and he wasn't racist. Maybe he just wanted to be an alien, and that's what was
maybe.
wrong. Going back, throwback to that one
Maybe
chat
he
I
just
did
really.
about that guy that lives in Maryland that like claimed he was getting abducted by aliens and sleeping with them. Remember? Throwback to that. Jesus, I had nightmares. Didn't you remember the stream I did about that? It was like he's an artist and he paints his abductions and sells them. Yeah, it's really twisted.
Really?
Yeah. He claims he's like fathered
Wow.
like alien babies. I don't know. It's kind of far out there for me. I feel like I'd rather watch Jack Osborne
No.
investigate. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? I feel like that's just a little too far east for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Weird. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, H.P. Lovecraft was weird, but yeah, so the Necronomicon was found after he died, and he basically denied it to the day of his death that it even existed until after he died. I mean, back in the day of the 1900s, even if, especially, I feel like if you were to admit that you were talking to the dead people and demons, they would probably throw you also in the asylum, don't you think? I mean, I feel like there's one thing to, there's one thing to be like psychic and you're like an oracle, but I feel like back in the day, if you were to admit that you were talking to dead people, they would throw you in an asylum. Or if you're talking to aliens or you're talking to demons. So I think with the Necronomicon, he probably had to hide it in lieu of not going to an asylum and dying in there.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think?
Wow.
Especially
that would really suck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't imagine living in that
Because
era.
then, how would you say that you made up? How would you be able to be creative like that? You know, because if your creativity is looked at as you must be insane if you're making all this stuff up. Or if you're writing something that is of the topic of like the supernatural or deemed as scary to people, and you're looked at as insane, it's like, maybe I shouldn't be creative now, so it's kind of hindering.
Well, I also think that
Creativity a little bit.
when you're like a person that creates things, even in like the filmmaker side, I watched a documentary one time. I think it was on like a cable network. Anyway, it had Dr. Dre on it. And Dr. Dre was saying, like he's the one that kind of founded Eminem, and he's done like several other people and like made these huge albums. Did you see that?
The Defiant Ones.
Is that what it was?
Wasn't that what?
I don't know.
I think so,
It
yeah.
was amazing. I can't remember if it was one episode or if it was a
Gwen
series.
Stefani was in it.
Yes.
And yeah.
It was so good. So basically, Dr. Dre is saying,
it
I'm
was
like
really good.
a producer, musical EP. I'm like paying to produce these artists. But he said, when you're like kind of a creative genius, that there's times you can fall in slumps of like deep depression, because once you've made it big, nothing else will ever be that big again, or at least that's the fear in your mind, is like, oh my God, I have to do this so well this time because, I have to make this bigger than the last one and like continue. And in your mind, being like a creative genius, you never feel like you're good enough. And I feel like that was probably something that happened even to like when we had the conversation about Edgar Allan Poe. They had these like kind of one-hit wonders, and they always were trying to make another rewrite that was better than the last, or like as big as the last. And it sucks for, like, in the case of Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft, they're dead, and now they're probably more famous than they ever were, especially in their time. But that's also because, like, a society issue, right? Like, our society now is very accepting of paranormal, and you still have all kinds of weird noises going on over there. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. They're calming down a little bit, so.
Are they? Okay. They're like, chill.
You keep cutting out, by the way. Me or what?
I don't know. If I was cutting out, I think I would have gotten a text, and I haven't heard anything from the management side. Kat hasn't texted
so
me.
It's probably me then.
Yeah, it's probably your mic or your Wi-Fi signal. So, well, any last comments on H.P. Lovecraft? I mean, I do like his work, but it's dark, right? Like, if you're not familiar with any of his writings, go get one of his books at like Barnes & Noble or online, but it is dark.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything I had written down.
Yeah, and we're not like experts by any means on H.P. Lovecraft. We were just really inspired by it from the Sabrina episode. Did you like that episode?
Yeah.
I liked it.
I did, actually. I thought it was awesome how they shot that too. Mm-hmm. Just storyline in general.
Yeah, I thought it was really... Yeah, it was very dark, though. Sabrina's very dark. If you guys haven't seen it, it is dark. So if you don't like dark humor, don't watch it. I think at some point, Chanel and I are going to do like a review of the full Sabrina. Because Kat, you're behind. You need to watch it. Kat's behind on it. But it's really good.
Kat.
I watched it. So the second season... I'm not going to do any spoilers, but Chanel and I talked, and the second season is not as good as the first season of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. The first season was really good. I feel like the second season, they may have not been expecting to get renewed, and it felt a little rushed. There was also a few parts in it that were a little strange to me. I'm just going to say the levitation scene that she does, it was of the Jesus thing. I thought that was a little weird. Wasn't really expecting that. I felt that was like, it was like a demonic version of Satan or something. I didn't know what was going on. Anyway. And then, but I did rewatch it. I did rewatch season 2, and I thought it made a lot more sense once you rewatch it. So, I don't know. I think the next season might be kind of good. I really like Ambrose. I like Ambrose. I like
I do too, yeah.
What's the other? What's the other dark sister that with Ambrose at the end when they're gonna go hunt the guy down? You know who I'm talking about?
Hilda?
No, that's the Aunt Hilda.
Aunt Hilda?
No, she's one of the dark. She's Blackwood's daughter, or like adopted daughter, or whatever.
Oh, Temperance.
Yes, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
There's Dorcas. There's actually a witch in there called Dorcas. I swear. Um, but yeah, there's some really good actors and actresses in it that I really appreciate. So it's really good. Gotta watch it.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other things you want to like add in? Someone said maybe it's based on dreams or automatic handwriting during meditation. I don't know. He never really admitted to doing meditation. It was always surrounding like portals. I do know that when you look at the Winchester house, Sarah Winchester used to do automatic writing, and that's where she would
Yeah.
gain her inspiration and visions. But I don't think that had to do with H.P. Lovecraft.
I've had one experience with automatic writing, and it is actually like the type of thing where you read it back and it's like, who wrote this?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like your words.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know, I guess.
I'm scared. I don't think I could do that. I don't open myself up
I
enough.
I wasn't even meditating. It just happened. I told Kat about it, I think. I don't know if she remembers.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that to both of us in Vegas that happened by accident. You weren't expecting to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Kat wants me to show off her Baphomet that she made for me. So Kat is
Do it!
Isn't it so cute? Oh my god.
It is.
Kat is a avid knitter. Yes, you heard me right. Knitter, knitter. She made this cute little like demonic guy for me. He's so cute. She made him from scratch. He has a little scarf on. So cute. She actually has a website that she's making right now. She's going to be selling these soon. She's making I think she said she's trying to make a penguin and a panda and a little pig too. So cute. Shout out to Kat. She brought this to me when she was in Vegas. Isn't that cute? We were going to stream when they were in Vegas, but my goodness, when they're here, I feel like our schedule is just like back to back. We don't ever stop. Literally. And we just need time to breathe before we move on to the next thing. So yeah, we didn't have time to stream while they were here. But they're going to be out here in October, right, Chanel?
Mm-hmm. Yes, correct.
I'm moving. She's like, I'm moving.
Can't wait.
So excited. I know. They're both literally, they were I drove them around in Vegas to show them areas, that they could live in. They were like, love it. Love it. So yeah, they're going to be moving here.
Love it.
Yeah. People have been asking about GGD the series. I can't really say much because we're in contract and I have non-disclosure agreements, aka NDAs. Also, I can't give out a lot of information because people like to steal ideas. Okay, so I don't like to say much of what I'm doing. We've had some producers watching us like a hawk. And in fact, these producers have been taking our weekly chats and running with them. Really cute. So we did the Axeman and some Chanel, we're watching you. Yeah, we did the Axeman and a couple other Louisiana topics, and these producers are watching our topics, and then they take the topics and they use them for ideas for series that they're working on. Which clearly we're not going to Louisiana anytime soon, so I don't really care. But it's just y'all can't come up with your own ideas, boo. I mean, just get some brains. You got this. I believe in you. You know what I mean? I believe in you. So anyway, we don't say a lot on social media about the series because, people like to scam on you because they don't want to do their own work. They want to tailgate, everybody else that's working hard. So, the series is going well. That's all I can say, and that we're still in post-production. And don't you worry, boo. It's still going. Everything is still going really good. Just working. Actually, they were here for that week, and I did take a few days off. It was nice to just chill with Chanel and Kat and not do work every day because they know I'm a workaholic and I'll work 12 or 14 hour days sometimes. So yeah, it was nice. It was nice to just chill with everybody. We did go on set. We filmed a little bit while they were here. We took security with us. Actually, you know what? That's a perfect full circle for this conversation. Going back to Jack Osborne's show, Portals to Hell, okay? And we're talking about the guy that Katrina was interviewing, okay? And clearly he, like, told Jack something. He said there was satanic worship, and then he, like, turned the conversation around, right? And said, oh, no, it wasn't that. It was something else. That should have been a producer cue to, like, not put them on camera, or they shouldn't have shown the interview at all anyways, because it makes the show have poor credibility. And the reason I'm going to wrap that around to GGD is there's been a couple of people that we were supposed to interview. Mainly the woman that we thought was an alien, if you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly. What would have happened if I interviewed her and put her interview on TV? What do you think people would think of not only her, but us? Plus, I don't even think I could get, like, a full straight sentence out of her. She was bouncing all over the place, don't even know what was going on. Plus, when you do an interview, I need you to look in the camera, and she had her back turned to us. I mean, talk about an audio disaster on set. So anyway, my point is like, don't interview people, even if it's people that, like, you know, you feel like you need to give you credibility on set. But just like Jack Osborne, like, that made them look worse by putting somebody on that, like, didn't know what they were talking about. Oh. Anyways.
So bad.
Yeah. Just don't do it. Don't sabotage yourself. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Especially since all these producers are watching us. I feel like I'm just giving all of them, like, ideas and, like, how to do things. You know, I feel like maybe I should, like, be at UCLA teaching a film class on paranormal, because I'm helping these producers out on all these different channels. You know what I mean? Like, I need to start charging for this information.
For
you know
real.
what I'm saying? Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm gonna set up a class. If anybody wants to take it, okay, I'm going to charge, because I need some money. Mama needs to be paid back, because series is expensive, okay? Anyways, my rant's over. I'm fine. I'm calm. I'm very calm. Any last minute notes, Shanae? No, you know what it comes down to, and Chanel knows this. We all work really hard on GGD, all of us. Chanel did all of the research for H.P. Lovecraft, and it's hard to see somebody swoop in and try to, like, steal your juju. You know what I mean? It's like, you put all this work into it, and it's like, don't steal my juju. Like, now next week, Kat will be on. All of our juju. Kat's going to be on next week, and next week's going to get a little heated. So I just want to make sure everybody's prepared for Kat's chat next week, okay? Because she's probably her Aries is going to come out. Because the topic for next week is discussing paranormal responsibility in the community. Also, we will tie into that when you get family of heirs from paranormal and they destroy your image that has been in air for, 100 years, quite literally, right? Or almost 100 years. 92, 93 to be specific, if you know where I'm going. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. And, Kat does our social media management. And so she has, like, eyes and ears for everything. She's watching everything all the time. It's one of those things of, I'm focused on the series, but she has to kind of watch the competition and who's out there doing what. And unfortunately, there were some really rotten things that kind of came to our attention of other people in the field, and not harming us by any means, but, potentially harming the community and harming heirs to the community, which I think is really sad. Plus, paranormal responsibility. I feel like that's all I'm just going to leave it at that. Kat got a little heated, okay? Her Aries came out. It got a little ugly, okay? Chanel was there. Kat, you gotta pick and choose your battles, and Kat chose this battle, okay? Let's just say she chose the battle. And, but it was a good point, and I do feel like it should come, we should talk about it. So next week that'll be Kat and I kind of chatting about it, and everyone will get to see her Aries flame up on fire, and that'll be fun. Oh, shout out. Yesterday was May 3rd. Happy late birthday to Blake, my co-owner. Holler. My birthday is in 6
Yay.
days. Oh my gosh. My birthday is in 6 days.
Oh,
I know. May 10th is my
yay.
birthday, so I'm so excited. I'm actually going backwards in years. I'm not gaining years. And then next year I'm stopping. So I'm actually going to be 27 for the rest of my life. So my birthday on May 10th, I'm going to be 27. So yay, I'm excited. I'm going backwards. And then I'll always turn 27 after that. You know what I mean? But yeah, other than that, guys, thank you so much, Shanae, for chatting with me. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No. Just
Chanel, no.
don't
I'm done.
just don't do bad things to people.
Don't do bad things to people. Just go find your own
Be
ideas.
good. Be a good person.
Don't go
Yeah.
stream from your friend's haunted apartment. There's another lesson. Don't get branded at 3 a.m. Just saying, because that's not fun either. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for everything. Make sure you tune in next week. Kat is gonna be on fire, so I hope everybody's prepared for it.
Can't wait.
You need to bring popcorn, okay? You need to bring popcorn.
Oh.
Because Kat is gonna lose it. She's ready. She's ready to go right now. She's like, let me tell you what happened, okay? Jeez. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you're following us on social media. Sorry, I can't talk as always, and we will catch you guys next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.